Well, hello there. My name is Vladimir. Welcome to my home studio. Today we are checking out the Harley Benton Bass DI Expander. A quick disclaimer, I'm not a bass player, but I'm kind of forced to play bass because I do all these gear demo tracks and such, and I want to learn because this is a fun instrument. And this pedal is really interesting. It kind of, to me at least, attempts to be a kind of all-in-one solution where you have the kind of preamp side of stuff with gain and 3-band EQ with a separate frequency control for the middle control, and then there's also a compressor. It has a line in, kind of, let me focus on that. There's kind of a headphones line in, there's the regular input, there's a through, so basically this signal kind of bypasses everything that's happening in the pedal. It's powered by 9 volts. It only requires around, I think the manual said like 40 milliamps or something, so that not that much. And on this side there's an output, there's a phone output. I don't know whether it's kind of cabinet simulated or anything like that, and there's a DI out. On the front side you have the kind of preamp section with the tone control, there's a gain control, there's a blend control where you can blend in as much of the compressor as you want, and then there's the overall volume, and these two controls are for the compressor. Something I don't really understand about this pedal is that for some reason they decided that the green light means that the pedal is off, and hitting either of these buttons it turns red, and that means it's on. I really don't understand why the LEDs couldn't be just off when something isn't turned on. Like, every time I use this pedal I need to be reminded that the green means it's not engaged. It means just that here's the button and now it's on. I don't really understand why they went this way. As of shooting this video, the pedal retails for 79 euros, so at least on the paper you are getting quite a lot because there's a preamp and a compressor section on this pedal. Quickly to run you through the signal, I'm using my Squier vintage modified 70s jazz bass, which goes straight into the Bass DI Expander, and from there I go to my Universal Audio Apollo Twin with no kind of post caps or anything like that added. It's just the DI signal. So here's the sound of the bass without the pedal on. And let's turn on the kind of preamp section. So as you can hear, it's not exactly like an overdrive pedal for bass. You can just add a little bit of, let's call it hair, on top of the overall bass signal, but it's pretty cool. Let's check out the tone controls. I'll start with the treble. So I love the tone controls where I like them a bit more. This isn't like a super bass heavy bass, or there isn't like a lot of the low end, so I like boosting the low end just a little bit. I don't know what that lick was, but yeah, you get the idea. Moving on to the compressor side of things, Weirdly, this button is labeled on and off, but it actually doesn't turn the pedal on and off, it just turns the preamp on and off. Because even though this is now off, I can turn on the compressor. I like that there's a separate volume control that allows you to bring in some of the volume, because when the compressor is hitting the signal pretty hard, and there's this kind of funky attack thing happening as well, you can bring in some of the lost volume that compressor or the perceived volume drops, and you can bring it back using the volume control. That's pretty clever. We have a pretty crazy kind of compression setting going on right now, so let's check out the blend knob. We'll start it from here. To me, at least, the compressor is pretty efficient, and since I'm not a super proficient player and my kind of notes aren't that even, it kind of makes me sound better than I really am. And let's check out the preamp and the compressor at the same time. On the front side, the pedal also features the kind of input control, and especially if you have something like active pickups in your bass, this might be really useful. And on the left side, it has the DI out ground lift switch, just in case you run into some hum issues. So for the kind of bass guitar rookie this is a pretty cool pedal. It allows me to try out some EQ controls and compressor stuff, even though I have to mention, I kind of actually wish that the tone controls were a bit more powerful and a bit more extreme, because it would kind of help me to understand what each of the frequencies actually does. And I also struggle a little bit to find the good kind of perfect blend with the compressor where you kind of don't notice that it's there, but you still feel it when you're playing. For 79 euros though, I think it's a pretty good pedal, especially if you're starting out and want to get familiar with bass effects. And even though there are these weird things like the LED stuff that just, I can't wrap my head around it, why it's made like that. Maybe there's a reasoning, let me know in the comments if you know why it's like this. But even with the minor kind of usability things, it sounds good, it does what it says it does. It's built really well, like it feels super solid and all the knobs and everything feel good. So it should be a pretty gig worthy as well. Thanks for watching my demo on the Harley Benton Bass DI Expander. If you want to get yours, please follow the link below in the description, and by getting this thing through that link, you will also support what I do. If you found this video useful, please consider giving it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and if you haven't subscribed yet, there's a subscribe button for you, and there's some other videos I've done. Thanks for watching. I shall see you next time.